Well, hello. We are here. I am here for a fertility hot seat. And I have news for you guys. I'm going to be doing one fertility hot seat a day between now and Monday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 hot seats in a row. A lot of you know how it works. People are already requesting to join live. So this is how it works. You have to request to join me live. I select at random one of you who has not been on a fertility hot seat before, and I'll pull you on live with me, and we will do a live free fertility consultation, a 15-minute fertility consultation where I will give you my advice on your case. My advice is not medical advice. It is rather based on my almost 20 years of clinical experience helping women get and stay pregnant. It is advice based on my best-selling books on fertility and on women's health. It is based on advice of my nerdy brain science research girl. And then also, I want to let you know that whoever gets chosen today is going to get a gift. A gift. And yeah, it's going to be a nice gift certificate to use towards my Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course, which the doors opened yesterday after I finished the Q&A, the live Q&A that went with the egg quality course. If you guys haven't caught that course, it's a free mini e-course on how to improve the quality of your eggs. It's incredible. It's not going to be up forever, so you should make sure you take advantage of that course. If you want the link for it, just DM us. And then I had a live Q&A last night where I answered lots of questions, and the replay was sent out to everybody who did sign up for the egg course. So please watch it, because there are discount codes and promo codes and giveaways in that Q&A that expire by 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight. And then every day this week, I'm going to do a fertility hot seat, and whoever I choose gets a $200 gift certificate towards the Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course. Cha-cha-cha. It's a very, very, very nice discount. Yes. So, let's see. We have a lot of people. Who am I going to pick? See all. Wow. I am going to go with Dear Mrs. Fantasy. So, let's see. I'm going to send the request to you. Come live with me. Let's do this. Hi.
Hi.
How are
Good
you?
morning.
Good morning. I know. Where are you? What time is it where you are?
I'm Pacific Coast. I live in Lake Tahoe.
Such a beautiful place.
And it's finally not smoky after a month or two of being smoky.
My gosh.
Yeah.
I lived in California at one point, and I remember those fires and like ash coming down from the sky, and you'd have to put on your windshield wipers. It was crazy. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are
trying
safe.
to be as safe as I can.
Yeah. And breathing clean air.
95 and having air filters inside and everything.
Yeah. My gosh.
Thank you so much for picking me. I'm kind of shocked, but in a weird way. I was like, she's going to pick me today. I have a feeling.
There you go. You manifested it. I love it. There were a lot. This was the most I've ever had, too. And it was like, I don't know. I liked your Dear Mrs. Fantasy with a PH.
Thank
I like
you.
that. You're welcome.
Traffic song, right? Dear Mr. Fantasy.
I love Traffic. I saw them live once a long time ago. I'll age myself, but
meant to be.
I love Steve Winwood, like huge Steve Winwood fan. But yeah, I love Traffic. So tell me what's going on.
So husband and I have been trying to conceive for 5 years.
Okay.
Miscarriage 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 unsuccessful IUIs.
Okay.
And I have been following your egg quality diet for almost this whole year. I sell wine as a living, but I've chosen this year to be totally sober, dry.
Okay.
I'm literally right now heating up my bone broth, like literally just put it on. So I should maybe pause that actually.
Yeah. Yes, it doesn't boil away because it's not cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's labor intensive. Yeah. So let's not waste it.
Yeah.
And so tell me,
I do Chinese
yeah.
medicine.
Okay.
I kind of am doing it all.
Okay.
I
And
did.
is there a diagnosis?
No.
Okay.
Not
And how far along was the miscarriage?
6 weeks.
Okay.
Really short.
And did
But
you get
still,
any testing done on it? Did we know?
no.
No. Okay. And that was a natural pregnancy. That wasn't an IUI, right? Yeah. Okay.
It was, and that was the first time I've ever been pregnant.
Okay. And what were you doing differently then?
I was doing less then, and I go back to those days of like, what did you do differently? And I really can't pinpoint it by any means. And so what I'm in is that unexplained infertility group, and then just really trying to figure out next steps.
And so with the IUI, tell me the response. How did, like, what meds did you take and what happened?
I was on letrozole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they said it all looked fine, like it should have worked. They weren't really sure why it wasn't working. Since then, we have maybe pinpoint what we think might be an issue for me, and it was not through doctors, it's with coaches and my naturopath and my acupuncturist, that maybe my uterine lining is a little thin. My period only lasts 2 days.
Okay.
And
is it ever painful or crampy?
Never.
Or clotty? No.
Okay. Clotty, maybe. In the Diva cup is where I'm kind of measuring the period blood.
Yeah.
And it's maybe only 5 milliliters over the course of 12 hours. And when you pour it out the Diva cup, it's very
thick. Yeah.
Kind of stick together.
And then no history of like surgeries or anything abdominal that could have been scar tissue or anything like that?
So when like probably about 15, 20 years ago, and forgive me, I forget what HPV.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, yes. And I did have to get some.
Yeah, tissue removed. It's like a biopsy.
But every time they look in my uterus, they say it looks fine. They don't see any scarring. And
have you just had a saline sono or have you had a hysteroscopy? Do you know the difference? You might not know the difference.
Is one of those HSG?
That's for the tubes. So you have that done and the tubes are open. Yep. You know, one thing I might look at is, especially if the lining isn't thick enough, is getting a hysteroscopy. It's a, you know, it's a bit of a, like you go under anesthesia for it, but it's kind of an in and out procedure where they look at the uterine lining to make sure there's no scarring. It gives us more information than a saline sonogram. Which is basically where they fill up the uterus and kind of do a sono and to see if there's any fibroids or polyps or things like that. But a hysteroscopy is like the doctor actually goes in with the scope and looks inside your uterus. And then they also can take a sample of the uterine lining and they test it for infection. It's called an endometrial biopsy. There's a test. There's 2 different ones. I think they do the same thing, the Alice and Emma, or it's called the endobiome. But I would, no matter what, like say you move to IVF, you should definitely do this before you would do a transfer because perhaps there's something there that's going awry. I would look into that just considering the lightness of the periods. And then I would also think about like Mayan massage, castor oil packs, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Doing it all. Okay. Yeah. And then what about on the high quality diet? Have things changed for you?
Yes.
Like physically? I mean, tell me.
Yes, for sure. I mean, physically, I feel healthier than I've ever been. I'm 37 as well. So I'm healthier than I've ever been. I am way less swollen everywhere. Like I feel like, and it has nothing to do with pant size or anything like that, but I've definitely gone down with just like the swellingness. You know, going gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, all of that has dramatically helped me, my energy, everything. Alcohol-free obviously is huge for me too. So that has.
And what about like the checklist in the book? Did you have a lot of symptoms in the kinks? You did. Okay. So then we could assume inflammation and perhaps that's part of this. Has the period gotten any heavier? Has that changed?
It's so hard to say because before I was using tampons and you can't really gauge. No. And then I would say about 6 months ago was when I started with the Diva cups and it has gotten better, but I feel like it should have gotten better.
Right. Okay. And what about ovulation? Are you seeing like very clear signs of it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
29-day cycles, really
Okay.
clear ovulation, everything like that.
Okay. And has that like changed or improved? Like, is it more signs of ovulation or?
Yeah. I would
Okay.
say that like it went from like 28 to 32 days to pretty much 29 days of the
Yeah.
cycle. Ovulation is pretty much the same time every time, and
Okay.
like way more signs. I had trouble at the beginning with cervical mucus, and I will say that I do have more cervical mucus with
Okay.
my cycle too.
So it sounds like you're moving in the right direction. So you said you've been doing it since January or?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of started with body belief and then once I released egg quality kind of followed that. Is that what you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And like last summer, I did mind body work with a coach too, where
Okay.
I did like a full 5-month program where I was really working on like beliefs and like what if statements. And I feel positive.
Good.
I just kind of want to know, like, even this, like the saline sonogram and the hysteroscopy, next steps, because being in this,
that's what I would do. I would like rule it out because it's crazy. Like, you know, I just got an email this morning from a girl who, I mean, she's honestly, she's 10 years older than you. And she's been at this for several years trying to get pregnant she's making her own eggs still in her mid 40s, but no one had ever checked her uterine lining. No one ever did an endometrial biopsy or hysteroscopy. And she just emailed me this morning that she sure enough has an infection in her uterus. She has to take antibiotics for 2 weeks. And you're never going to get pregnant if you have an E. coli infection or bacterial overgrowth in your uterus. Like it's basically birth control or it'll cause a miscarriage. So,
and is that something that like an OBGYN would do, or do you have to go to like a specialty?
An OBGYN could do it. Yeah. Oh, an OBGYN could do it. You also might, whoever did the IUIs, that's who I would talk to about it.
Okay.
And see, because either way, like say, I would still see, it sounds to me like things are shifting and changing in the right direction, that like, I'd probably give it till the end of the year before you do anything dramatically different. But in the meantime, you could still get these tests done and then say, if you're not pregnant come the new year, that maybe you pursue, looking into an IVF or something like that to just see, IVF is valuable because we get to see what egg and sperm do when they meet each other in a petri dish. And then also we could genetically test. And so there's value in that. And some women find, if all goes well and you collect enough embryos and all of that, that there's like this insurance policy in the sense of like, okay, at least now I know if I get pregnant now, I could still also have another child in a couple of years and not have to wait and go through all this. So I think there's pros and cons, and you kind of have to like, you've done the mental emotional work, like listen to your heart and see what feels right for you. But if you were working with me and you said, oh, I'm going to move to IVF, it would be the first thing I tell you to do is get a hysteroscopy and make sure that endometrial biopsy is clean, especially with the light periods. And then especially with the fact that you had a lot of symptoms of inflammation, that perhaps that's part of it. Because it could also be like typically if the gut bacteria is off, so people have GI issues or like you said, swelling, bloating, that kind of stuff, they change their diet, they start to heal the gut. If you did have a uterine infection, it might heal itself, but it might take a longer time, so it's just, and then the antibiotics, nobody ever likes to do 2 weeks of antibiotics, but it typically will fix the problem.
Right. But at this point, I literally feel like I'm doing everything else. Yeah. So this is a great next step.
Yeah, it's a good next step. And I would just, if you feel good on the diet, obviously, I most women are like, I'm never going back to the old way, or like, I'll go back a little bit here and there. But your body's working better in that department. And so some women take 3 to 6 months on a diet like this and things dramatically change. Some women, if they've had significant inflammation, it could be a year, it could be more. Right. But we do see things shift, and no matter what, even if you wind up going to like more aggressive fertility treatments, you're still doing great benefit for your body and for your egg health. That's how I would look at it.
And it feels so good to have this next step.
Yeah. And what about your husband? His health is good?
Yeah. He's gotten tested and his health is good.
Is he doing diet stuff with you?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He's a little bit more flex, right? Yeah. But like, yes, he has done it with me. And same thing, even for his inflammation and everything, he can tell he's way down. And he also decided not to drink with me for about 4 or 5 months. Good. And then, Yeah, which is big for him as well. I mean, especially being in like the wine industry.
Yeah,
That's
that's tough.
like,
That's tough. But you
um,
also want to think about, and you may have heard me talk about it, and this is your industry, so you know, but like the pesticide load in wine, and like going to the organics and avoiding, like those pesticides are killers.
totally.
And we know they're terrible for our fertility. So, the diet, the lifestyle overhaul, all that's so important. And then supplements. Are you taking like all the things I typically recommend? Yeah, everything? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And, I'm liver pills in the summer. In the winter, I was eating liver, but
Good.
sometimes in the summer, it's too heavy with the heat. So I'm on
Yeah.
liver pills. I'm on
Good.
CoQ10. I'm on all of it. Yeah.
Okay. And a good dose of fish oil, like 2 to 3 grams of fish oil. Yeah.
Yep.
How about
Totally.
a baby aspirin in the luteal phase? Have you ever tried that?
No.
Yeah, think about that. You could research it too, but it's like if you maybe had clotting factors, or if you have the MTHFR, which your naturopath might have tested for. No,
I don't have it.
You don't have it. Okay. Do you have any of like the COMT? Do you know if you have any of the other popular SNPs? They're called SNPs.
Nope.
No. You could look into that if you have your 23andMe, like your genetic. Have you ever done the 23andMe?
I did the other one.
Like the health.
No.
Oh, well, if you have like the raw data, if you will, on your genes, you can have your naturopath. What I use is through Pure Encapsulations, their website. What is it called? Pure Genomics. It's free for practitioners, so she could set up an account. She plugs in your data, and it gives you a report of like what genetic SNPs you have. But some people have ones that make them have a greater tendency towards clotting factor issues or things of that nature. And so taking a baby aspirin in the luteal phase can actually help with implantation.
Okay.
Because with an early miscarriage too, you want to think about that. Like something happened and why didn't it stick? You know what I mean? Like it could have been inflammation. It could have just been bad luck. But yeah, I would think about a baby aspirin too in the luteal. Don't take it all month long, only in the luteal phase, 81 milligrams. But of course, talk to your physician about it. But that's something else that could help with implantation. And then make sure your husband's doing like the fish oil and the liver and like the spirulina. Yeah.
Yep. He does all that. Liver he doesn't do. So I'll get him on liver.
Get him on that.
So I was listening to your live last week with the lady speaking about NK, the killer cells. Can I ask you something? I feel like recently, like maybe 3 or 4 times in the past 6 months, a week after ovulation, when I think something should be implanted, I get weak. Like my temperature spikes, I have to sleep all day, and I'm an energetic person. Like that's not like me to need a nap. It almost seems like my body is fighting off something.
Yeah, it could be an immune response. It could be. I mean, and I always, you may have heard me said this, like I've been doing this so long that like I never ignore a woman's intuition because we're so powerful and like your body so well. So that could be it. That's probably like if you felt crappy and then you did the high quality diet and you're seeing less swelling and all these things, like clear cut, there was inflammation. Maybe there was some endometriosis, like, we may not never know, and that's okay. But the baby aspirin would help with an immune response. You can also talk to your naturopath about, like, you can do some immunological testing. Dr. Andrea Vidali, actually, who is the big immune doctor that I love in New York City, he did just start a company called PregMune, M-U-N-E. And it's for women anywhere, I think in the US, that they make the immunological testing much more affordable. And then I believe he helps you come up with a protocol if you come back with any immune responses. Another thing to look into is low dose naltrexone. Talk to your, again, your naturopath about it. LDN, it's called. Naltrexone. But low dose. It's been shown too. It's a medication. You have to get it prescribed by a physician, but it can help with lowering inflammation. It's kind of like a steroid, but like a much lesser grade. That's how I would look at it. But if there were, say, something like natural killer cells, you can get those tested too. But you could do, so if you did that endometrial biopsy, if you did the hysteroscopy and the endometrial biopsy, there's another test called the Receptiva. They can do them at the exact same time. They do the Alice and Emma, which is for the bacteria if there's an infection, and they do one called the Receptiva, and it gives you a readout of inflammation in the uterus and the percentage or likelihood that you have endometriosis or high natural killer cells. And then it's like what you do with that and treat it. Like the diet you're doing is, you know, a great treatment for it. I mean, you know, when I worked with the endometriosis specialist, Dr. Braverman, who worked with Vidali until he passed away, he would always say, he's like, whatever diet you do with these girls, I've never seen inflammation change as dramatically as it does, you know, so just keep doing it. So I think you're on the right path, but you could like look under these other rocks for a little more information.
For sure. And that's what I needed today, because I know
good.
I've done it all. I'm at the point where a couple months ago, I came to the realization I am doing it all.
Yeah.
Sit back and receive.
Yeah, good.
I feel like I'm in such a better mental state.
Yeah, good.
It was 2 years ago with this, you know, the emotional roller coaster. But I needed to know next.
Yeah, you want some like detective work now. You know, it's like you're doing all the things, and I don't think you'll change back because you feel so good. You know, you probably reintroduce wine, and you'll be particular about the types and like all of that. But yeah, it's worth it, because you also, like, the other side of it is we don't want to work this hard, if you will, to get pregnant and miscarry again, because it's something that maybe needs to be addressed from a medical perspective, you know? So, so yeah, that's how I would do. I would just kind of like look at all the layers and like, okay, you have diet and lifestyle in check. You have mental, emotional health in check. So let's like look at these things too, because a lot of girls go to IVF and no one ever checks their lining, and the IVFs fail, and then they check their lining. And so they wasted 1 or 2 cycles, and it's bullshit.
I can't do because of insurance.
Yeah,
this is all out of pocket.
Out of pocket.
You know,
so yeah, and also a lot of times I find, especially at your age, I know 37 might feel old to you. I mean, especially been trying for 5 years, but you have time before you have to go to those fertility treatments, in my opinion. And so, like, why not look at all the other pieces and just rule them out? Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe
that's what
like,
I want to figure out. You know, unfortunately, where I live, there's only one clinic, and he was like, just go to IVF. Why do you need to figure it out? Really, all these steps aren't going to do anything. And I left just bawling, crying, because I did not believe that. Yeah. I know that all of this is making me healthier, making my chances better, and everything like that. And I don't want to go straight to IVF if there's other little things that I can.
Yeah, and listen to that. Like, that's the biggest thing. If you know, and you've done the work already. But, you know, listen to that intuition and your spidey sense, if you will, you know, and honor that.
Yeah. So hysterostomy.
Hysteroscopy. Yeah. Hysteroscopy.
Okay.
Endometrial biopsy. We can test for, we can do receptiva test, and you can Google all these, and then the Alice and Emma. That I think is super smart. And then look at Pregmune, look at the website. It's still a couple grand, but it's, you know, could be really worth it, or at least just look into it and see. And if you have a good like functional medicine doctor or a naturopathic doctor, a lot of times you can kind of show them what you're thinking about, and they might be able to say like, oh, I can test for that, or I can do that. It's almost like, you know, you come up with a plan together.
Amy, this is like all, I mean, I have a Zoom with my naturopath today at 1 o'clock.
Perfect.
So the fact that like I'm talking to you and I have all these things to kind of come in with, I'm so excited, because I'm taking bioidentical progesterone cream, and then today I'm talking to her about potentially taking some DHEA or bioidentical estrogen.
Get your DHEA tested before you take it, though, because you're still young. It shouldn't be that low, you know. But just
it's low in the normal range.
Did you do the Dutch, or you did blood work?
I did a spit test.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think of the brand. Yeah. Okay. So you could definitely. You want to see, and then if your progesterone's low too, that makes us think something's going on with the follicular phase and egg development. And so you want to think about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then ask her about the baby aspirin in the luteal phase.
Okay. All right. And then also, as I mentioned, if you are interested in my Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course, you're going to get a $200 promo code. So just DM us and we're going to give it to you. No pressure either way. I think you're doing great and you're on the right path. But if you want continued support and you get to see me every week and I answer questions and there's a whole course I teach, you are more than welcome to join. But either way, keep us posted, okay?
I want to say on behalf of a lot of people that might not get to say this for you, thank you so much for that free 7 course.
Oh, you're welcome.
It was amazing. I know that I was doing a lot of it, but I think that helped a lot of women. And I think that what you do for women every day and what you fight for is really pretty amazing. Because like you always said, group that we never wanted to be a part of. Yeah. So it's great.
Making me cry. Thank you. That's the whole plan. It's to be of service and to help, because I hate seeing women be robbed of their power. It's bullshit,
But you give us hope every day. So
oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you. Okay. So keep us posted. All right. And yeah, I'm cheering for you. Okay. Have a good one. Bye. Okay. I'm going to let you X out and then let me just see. Oh, that was so sweet, guys. So I have to go live I have to do my weekly Q&A in my e-course group in 4 minutes. I rarely ever miss a week for that weekly Q&A to support my girls in my Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course community. It is a private online community that is no longer on Facebook. And if you want to join the Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course, it is officially open for enrollment as of last night. Go to amyropp.com/yes to check out all the information about the e-course and what it can give you. And yeah, and then I'm going hot seats so today is Thursday, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I have 4 more hot seats. So just ask to join me live and I will select one of you. Whoever I select gets a $200 gift certificate or promo code towards the Yes You Can Get Pregnant e-course. And that's more, it's like a 15% savings. And so, yeah. Thanks. And that was a beautiful live. I'm letting my team answer the questions here because, like I said, I have to go live in my community now. And I will see you guys later. I do have a Facebook Live today at noon. So I'll see you Facebook Live. Sorry, we call it that. We've been calling it that forever. I have a live. Instagram and Facebook. I do both at the same time at noon today. And I will be talking about the importance of community and yeah, getting the right support that you need on this path. So similar to that conversation, right? We can just zone right in and help this woman navigate, the best next steps for her in her journey. So yeah. All right. I love you guys. I hope you took advantage of the free mini e-course, the 7 ways to improve the quality of your eggs. If you have not, it is still up. It is still free. It will only be up for a few more days. It's amyropp.com/egg, EGG course. Check that out too. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.